Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Between Two Friends. Today, I'm really excited to have a good friend. I know he wants to hear this, but a very funny character, and he's just a good guy to be around. But more than that, he's an architect, a really good architect. I have used him on a full home remodel as well as a bunch of different projects. And Stuart Dabowski, welcome, and please tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Sure. Brett, thanks for having me. This is really fun to do. As you said, I'm Stuart Dabowski. I own a firm called the Dabowski Design Group. We're a full-service architecture and interiors firm. As you know firsthand, we're capable of doing everything from a kitchen in the house down to outdoor space. We even did some work for you at the office as well. So our passion really is just about design, and our team is basically situated so that we can get you through the process from start to finish.
So, Stuart, most architects, portrayed on movies or that I've certainly met, you see a very like disheveled, just sort of like frumpy human being that doesn't know anything other than
Wow.
like a pencil and a ruler in their sheet. So, how do you even get into architecture? I mean, what's your backstory there?
Wow. Well, first of all, this is about as disheveled as I get, so hopefully that's pretty good for the camera today. But I guess my backstory is I was a kid who loved Legos. I was a kid who loved building and putting things together, and pretty much it's the only thing I ever really wanted to be. I mean, once I realized that being a professional soccer star wasn't in the cards, architecture was really the only thing that ever really resonated with me. I've always just appreciated the idea of home being something more than just the four walls around you. And when we built the firm, which by the way, we started it kind of in the depths of the recession of 2009, when we started the firm, my only concept was that we could create great spaces for people to really embrace the idea of being home. So for me, it was more about people than about buildings. And it just so happens that when we're designing spaces, it's always with people in mind.
So, from Legos to people to buildings, that's such a
That,
natural
that
Legos architect, right?
that's literally it. I wanted to figure out a way to get a paying gig to make Legos real. That was about it.
Well, hey, at least you're doing what you love, and I definitely know you're doing what you love. Your tagline, and I hope I don't butcher this, is a home is not a
You,
house
you
until you
butchered it.
love where
You
you
butchered.
live. Oh man,
You
it was so
butchered it.
close.
See that? It's a house is not a home until you love where you live. And the idea, obviously, is that anybody can buy a piece of property, but very few people can really turn it into something that is personal, meaningful, and really a place of pride.
Look, when you say that, I know you mean it, not only because we work together, but what you put out in your emails and your pictures, and how you really kind of talk to people about what they want to do with their home, because it's more than just lines on a sheet of paper that get turned into, crazy amount of prints, which I never understood why there was that many. And then a home, right? There's
Yeah.
so many things you have to think about when you're designing a house.
Sure. I mean, for us, it's really understanding the occupants of that house, what stage you are in your life. Are you an empty nester? Are you bringing a parent in to live with you? Are you new parents? Those kinds of decisions really determine the kinds of places that we create. The homes that we build are never for developers. They're always built around the idea that every single place should feel individual and should really customize to the life that you would like to have for you and your family. So that's why our process is so investigative in terms of really understanding who the occupants of the spaces are.
So when you say it's not for developers, meaning, we already own the house and then we wanted to renovate our home.
Yeah.
And so we worked with you directly. That is, I'm
Yes.
guessing, the bulk of your business is homeowners that want to, maybe they like their area and their house, but they want to redo a part of it, or even the whole thing to better fit their lifestyle.
Correct. There's lots of people out there that are building sheerly for profit. Our job is about getting to know the occupants of a space and building for them. If you're looking to build 100 houses that are all cookie cutter, we're not the firm you would call. Frankly, if you're looking to develop your home in an effort to just flip it, we're probably not the right firm to call either. Our business model is situated around the idea of the people who are going to occupy it, most likely long term, really loving the spaces that we create for them.
Yeah, I was going to mention that because when we were talking about remodeling our previous home, you were very honest about how much it was going to cost. You were honest about whatever you think it's going to cost. This is not a money making renovation. That's just not your model.
No, our idea is to really get to know why people are investing the money. If you are about to have teenage children and you want your house to be the go-to house in terms of entertaining teenagers, because you'd rather have those kids under your roof than someone else's house, that's kind of where we really get involved. We need to learn what kind of a lifestyle you want to project, and then we basically make that happen. Everything from the structure down to the silverware in the drawer if need be.
You said, look, when we start moving walls around, that's when it gets expensive. But
Sure.
but can you really change the feel of a home and make it different for somebody without moving walls? Is that even possible?
And it's a great question. The majority of our projects, we don't actually add any square feet to a property. A lot of times it's reconfiguring space, reimagining space, sometimes just taking a wall down. I mean, as you can even remember from your house, just taking that wall down that opened that kitchen up to the rest of the house just changed the place dramatically. I mean, actually, in your home, I don't think we added a single square foot to the entire property, and it made the space feel differently because we addressed the way that you guys were going to live with 2, then 3 kids along the way.
We designed the house for a family of 4, did the plans,
Yeah,
started the reconstruction, and about 5 months into it decided to have a third child, which made it 5. I mean, there's the right way to do things, and then there's the way that we did things. So
100%. And I don't know where you found the time to even get that third kid out, with all the stress that we were under in terms of building the property.
well,
So
yeah,
good for you.
that's true. That's true. Hey, look, renovations are stressful. So we're clear. We moved out for an entire year. So you're talking about, packing up your entire house and moving just like you would when you buy a house. It was a
Yep.
significant investment of time. And I tell people, like, I mean, remodeling can be fun. It can be exciting, but an entire remodel it's a big undertaking.
It's
No,
huge.
no offense, to you and your business, but I look, I
No,
would, if you're a good friend, you wouldn't wish a lawsuit on one of your friends, right? But that's what we do.
no, of
I
course.
don't wish people to have to deal with the entire process. But a lot of people do it anyway, and it's actually fun after you get through the fact that it's a pain.
I mean, you really set it up perfectly. It's being a professional is all about expectations. And at the end of the day, as you're preparing somebody from a lawsuit, you're talking to them about all the possible scenarios. One of the things that I think we really do best is prepare people, sometimes really kind of scare the crap out of them in terms of getting ready for what's about to happen in their lives. It's messy, it's expensive. Husbands and wives don't always agree with each other. And at the end of the day, there's like 1,000 decisions that have to get made along the way. And that's all under the idea that your contractor is good, right? So our team really works through design issues, permitting issues, and then construction issues. You need to be sort of shepherded through the whole process. That's why I have the team that I have in place.
And for you, one of the things you did is act as the middleman between us and the contractor, because as
Yeah.
people who are inexperienced in this sort of thing, you just don't know. And there was one time you guys came in and you looked at the plans and something wasn't accurate, which would have been a big mistake, at the time. So that was super helpful to have you guys sort of on board as the middleman between us and the contractor.
That point actually is one of the things I stress a lot. It's been very tempting in Miami to be a design build firm where we have construction under our umbrella, and I've avoided it because I think that what our primary role is to be your advocate in the process, helping you to see design, helping you to deal with permit officials, and clearly being on your side when it comes to dealing with contractors.
Yeah, and in fairness to contractors, I think that's human nature, right? You bid on a contract and you're
Sure.
thinking this is how much it's going to cost, but then you think without changing their plans, I know I can do things or get materials even for a little bit cheaper than most people, and I'm
Yeah.
I'm going to take that sort of cost savings and extra profit, which that's business, right? That is what it is. But having somebody to make sure that it's being built to what the vision and all of the thought. I mean, we had so many meetings that went into the whole thought process to not
Yeah.
get what we sort of dreamed about would have been devastating, I think.
In a lot of ways, I've said this to you before, there's no real difference between what you do and what I do. Yours is analyzing words on paper and holding people accountable. Mine are drawings on paper, holding people accountable to the same standards. We call our construction prints contract documents because they are legally binding images that are your contract with the general contractor. So if you want it, it's got to be in the set. And if you don't want it, we don't want to put it in the set because it's going to be a point of contention down the road. I mean, listen, let's just call it what it is. What I do is more fun than what you do. But at the end of the day, we are both there to advocate for our clients. And you're going into a situation that, you're very comfortable dealing in a courtroom. I'm very comfortable dealing on a construction site where our clients may have never done this or may have never taken that under. I think the definition of being a professional is being able to guide somebody through something that might have some potential trauma to it, and you get them through the other side. Again, it's critical that people go into a job knowing how much things are going to cost, having some contingency for when things go wrong, and understanding why they're spending the money. One of the great lessons of this profession is just because you have the money to spend, it doesn't mean that you should spend. It might not warrant spending, over developing a property. So we really try hard to let people know that their budget is treated as, we're spending their money like it's ours. It's important.
Yeah. And you talked about not adding square footage. So what happened with us is then we had the third kid and we decided this house is too small. So we had some room in the backyard and we were talking about maybe adding on, and they were like, it's going to change everything. We just went through this. Let's look around. And even though we remodeled the entire house basically. And what you had told us was, plan on living here, then spend the money. And we did. Somehow we were lucky enough though, to basically recoup all the money we put into the house. That was kind of rare. Cool. But it's a testament to the way that it was designed and it came out, and a lot of other factors. But again, you said don't spend all this money unless you're going to live there for 20 years. We thought we were going to, and then a year later we were out of there. So that was wild.
And we are recording, so I can tell your wife, you broke my heart when you sold that house. But no, in all seriousness, I'm glad that you were able to get the money, the value out of it. I think what's actually ironic is that we actually photographed your house. We photograph all our projects for the website. The photography that we did for your house is literally the pictures you were able to use in the real estate listing. So that's how fresh they were.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. You should have charged us again.
Well, at the very least, though. But no, you're one of my good clients. You pay all your bills. It's great.
Man, God bless the clients that pay their bills, right?
Absolutely.
So we could be here all day, but let's wrap up with some rapid fire questions. Okay. You ready?
Well, you wanted the disheveled architect. So here.
Well, that was my first question. Does wearing purple make you feel and seem more creative?
Yes, absolutely, because it's a little left of center, and people expect that from the architect.
My second question is, in Miami, do you have it unbuttoned to here, but then you've got the undershirt anyway?
Well, the undershirt is just a level of civilization, so I'm just going to put that on the record. The truth of the matter is that I was in pajamas about 25 minutes ago, so we're still in quarantine life. I just thought that had to get fancy for this.
Okay, all right. Third question. Can you be an architect and not wear glasses?
Absolutely not. Eventually, the glasses will catch up to you. If you're just out of school, you can try it without the glasses. Contacts, forget it.
Right.
But it's a look. It's a thing.
An architect without glasses is a broke architect, essentially.
Exactly. Even if I had perfect eyesight, I would still wear them. Absolutely.
Oh man. Well, Stu,
that's it. That's the best you got.
Again, man, we try to keep these short. So appreciate you being here. Had a lot of fun. Learned a lot. And let's end with this. you have to, just like having a good lawyer, right? There's always a cheaper mousetrap. Or as our friend Raj says, you pay peanuts, you get monkeys. So, um,
I like it.
the thing I like about you, Stu, is you under promise and over deliver, and
Right.
you're professional and fun. And thanks for all you have done for us, and thanks for being here today.
Sure, sure. You know, there's a lot of love both ways, Brett.
Awesome. I know, buddy.
Cool. All
All
right,
right.
man.
All right,
Thanks for
Stu.
having me.
Yep.
See you
See
guys.
you, buddy.
Bye.